So here we are in part two, the spreadsheet. So if you've made it this far, here is the form that I created in part one. I've added one question at the bottom. One of the options is file upload. So for those of you who do a lot of observation and use artifacts of learning as a part, or PedDoc as part of your observations, this is a new feature that was added this year, which allows for the upload of a photo, video, anything you want as a part of the Google form. So we're done the form is set. And if you head to the responses tab, you notice that I've filled it out a few times just to show some data here. It shows who I've observed, what I've observed, the topics I've observed, the observation, the scale ratings that I've given to people. I have no artifacts of learning that I've inputted. So this is all really basic, kind of crucial stuff that you can get right off the hop. This is done automatically by Google when you use the form. Now, where it gets really interesting is right here again with our green Norwegian flag, the spreadsheet creator. If you click on this, you will either generate a spreadsheet, or if you've already generated the spreadsheet, it will bring you to that spreadsheet. So here's what the data looks like when you have inputted into the spreadsheet. So you have the timestamp of when you did the observation, you have the name of the student, you have the subject observed, the topic, the observation you made, the scale rating if you did one, and then you'll have a link here to the artifact of learning, which will be deposited in your drive. It just appears as a link, it doesn't appear as a photo in the spreadsheet. So don't worry about it. If you don't see a picture there, that's not what will happen if you do put an artifact of learning in. So here's where it gets really neat. If I just click on the intersection of the rows and column right here, and then head over to the data tab, I can create filters. So you notice after I've done that, each one of these columns suddenly has a down arrow in it. Right? So there they all are, down arrow, down arrow, down arrow. I can then clear all the values from my spreadsheet and then select for a specific student. When I click OK, only the comments for that student will appear. Even better, if I want, I can then filter by comment. Now, at this point, I've only got 3 entries, and the only entries I have for this student are French listening. But let's say I go back here, and instead of student 3, I select student 1 and unselect student 3. Suddenly I have more comments, but now I can filter for the subject. So I only want to see his or her French writing comments. There is all of student 1's French writing, the topic, and the observation that I made. So think of it this way. When you are using the Google form to input data, think about writing your reports at the end of each term. Because if you do that, when you write your comments, you're going to write them in a way that you would for reporting. So I can then take the comments I've already written and I can copy them by hitting Control-C, highlighting them, hitting Control-C, and drop them straight into my reporting software. You can take this a step further even, and one of the questions in your form could be a next step for this particular student, which means when I filter out, I could also filter out the next steps in French writing, French reading, mathematics, does not matter, and input those directly into the report card from this form. So now you see why I love using this as a way to record student learning and student observations. Everything is filterable, everything is dropped into the same spreadsheet. I can observe many students, one right after the other. I can use my iPad to input the data. I can use my computer. I can even use my phone if I have the form on my phone. I can use anything because I can place that Google form on any device as an input device. So to recap, This is the spreadsheet that is generated from the Google form that I created. You can filter again by going to data, and I'm just going to turn off the filters, but you can filter your data by clicking at the intersection of the columns and rows, heading to data, setting up filters, and then this way you can filter out for anything you want. Even if you're having a parent-teacher interview or meeting with a parent about a student of concern, you can bring up this form and filter just for that student. Or if you have a learning skill form, you can filter just for that student or just for a particular topic. It is a great way of storing your data and gets you away from sticky notes, which is what I used to use and would lose all over the place and could never get them organized. This drops everything into your drive, into a spreadsheet, and you are done. So I'm going to do a separate one for a learning skill form, but have a try at this, and if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks.